Genshin players have been waiting 6 whole years for Snezhnaya. Well, it's more like 5 years and 10 months, but you get the point. Looking back though, it just feels so crazy to me, because we really went through years of build-up and fan theories, years worth of headcanons and ships, fan wars, drama, everything. Can you imagine all of that leading up to this? Ooh, chills! Get it? Cause Snezhnaya is cold. The anticipation leading up to this patch has been entirely unreal, to say the least. A few weeks before Snezhnaya, the community are just being edged. I don't know how else to say it, and nothing captured the collective mood better than this fan art that I found on Twitter of all of our favorite characters bundled up in big-sized winter coats, all standing around at the Genshin loading screen, just waiting to set foot in the snow. The final nation of Tevat, the home of the 𝗖cie, the end of the beginning and the beginning of the end. For a lot of people, Snezhnaya was always the final destination. When an update carries that much expectations on its shoulders, there usually isn't much middle ground. Either it gets completely floored under its own weight, or it completely delivers. The funny thing about version 7.0 is that it somehow managed to do both at the exact same time. Over the past week, I have been keeping an eye on the discussions happening in the community, and what I found was a strange, but not uncommon, infighting between the player base. There are people calling this the absolute peak of the game's writing and the character presentation, which is true. There are people being very mad over the friction in the open world, hilariously bizarre dialogue trapping, which is actually also valid. As confusing as it is, you don't need to worry, because I got you covered. I tried to take in as much information as I can over the past week and compiled it all into a video to share to you. If you want to see more content from me, feel free to smash the like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell icon to keep up with my videos. But before that, I gotta pay my electricity bills. If you are one of my regular viewers, you probably play gacha games, and we all know how expensive they can be. The monthly sub costs $5, the battle pass is about $10, and don't get me started on the bundles. It is tempting, but most of the time you don't have the cash. That is where Free Cash comes in. Loyalty rewards app where users from all over the world can sign up for free and make money online by playing mobile games from different categories. Brands spend huge amounts of money on advertising to get people to try their games and apps, and instead of spending all of that budget on ads people might just scroll past, some of it goes towards rewarding real users who actually try their products. Just to be clear here, this is not a get-rich-quick app, and it's definitely not going to replace your full-time job. It is simply a way to earn rewards by completing offers in your spare time. Free Cash has offers for mobile games. You choose an offer, follow the requirements, and your progress is tracked so you can receive your rewards. Just make sure app tracking is enabled before you start. Free Cash is used by over 70 million registered users, has paid out more than $300 million, and has a 4.6-star rating with over 290,000 reviews on Trustpilot. And when you reach the $25 minimum for your first cash out, you can withdraw your rewards through options like PayPal, gift cards, or even crypto, depending on your region. Just try it yourself. Use the link in the description or pinned comments. You will also get a $10 bonus after completing your first offer. And if you're already interested in trying a new game, you might as well get rewarded for it. And by the way, it's free to sign up. Just enter your email, create a password, and you are ready to check out the available offers. Maybe you'll finally get that gacha skin you've had your eye on. Just don't expect Free Cash to fund your entire gaming budget. The biggest praise for 7.0 from the player base is about its story, and we're gonna get into that because the quest is absolute cinema in so many ways, except the way it starts. It's a pretty minor thing that the players are laughing at, and I can't really blame them for it. The dialogue starts by basically telling you that the friends you have met in Not Cry are sending you off. And I mean, just look at this art on the screen. Isn't this just so wholesome? Well, I would hate to break your immersion, but this is fan-made. What you got instead is the Honkai Star Rail Classic, the 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 Special.
What's the 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 Special?
For example, nothing.
A black screen with a couple of white text telling you that the friends you have met in not cry are sending you off. It has these sound effects in the background telling you that you're having a good time. It's a show and tell without any of the show, just a lot of
nothing.
Not even a drawing of what happened, let alone an animation for it. The bar was on the floor, but apparently the devs are masters at limbo. This got hella clowned on by the internet for a good reason, in my opinion, right? I mean, most people would want to see some heartwarming goodbye to step into the new storyline, am I right? And I do believe that most people are gonna be taken aback by these things for sure, but the important question is, does it ruin the rest of the story? The truth is, not even a little bit. It'll be but a mere pebble on the road, because for those who actually played the story, the payoff for finishing it is insurmountable. We got posts like, "Thank you devs for finally addressing the biggest elephant in the entire game after 6 whole years." They really didn't hold back anything here. They are talking about Signora, the character that died in Inazuma, completely forgotten in the storyline for the majority of the game. Safe to say, they addressed the mammoth in the room, and they did it with flying colored rainbow butterflies. It was a tragic, multi-layered, emotional weight kind of story, and it's fantastic to say the least. This was easily the best introduction to a nation that Genshin has done, and I don't doubt it. I saw the clips, it looked great, a ton of opinions and reactions, a majority of it being positive. At least the ones I have seen are all positive, and I consider that a really high praise. I know some of you viewers are skeptical. The gacha community can sometimes glaze their games a little bit too much. You might be thinking, it couldn't be that good, right? That's fair, and that's why I will personally cover the story of 7.0 myself and give my honest opinion on it. I'll praise the good, criticize the bad, mention the plethora of improvements, and tell you where I think it's lacking. If you want to see that, again, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Another point of conversation that got a lot of praise are the newer character models, and this is a really big one. People were comparing models from regions all the way back from 1.0 to the current patch of 7.0, and it's just insane how much they have improved. The designs, the quality, the faces. What's interesting is that Odette's face is literally smaller than everyone else's. I'm sure 𝗖cie is also the same in that regard, but we will have to see. I just feel like it's night and day in this comparison video. We got the Harbingers as well. Almost all of the characters look good to me. They have definitely increased the polygons on these characters, and not by a small margin. These improvements doesn't just show in the cutscenes, they also show in the dialogue segments. Although, let me just say it right here, not all of the dialogues are revamped like this. In fact, it is probably just a small segment of them, but we will get to that later. You can see the post of people genuinely appreciating the improvements. Something like, "Genuinely it is meowing his name." A post that is showing Piero's Fatui introduction. Now I have no idea what this means, but if you do, let me know in the comments section below. Wrong answers only, please. We also got 𝗖cie, one of the characters that is being introduced in the new patch. Even when he is not a playable character just yet, he is gaining a lot of fans. I touched on this topic back in the live stream video about how many people liked his design, even when he was on screen for just a couple of seconds. But it seems like the stocks for this character skyrocketed the moment the updates went live. We have a whole quest with him going alongside us, and he even battled the enemy with us. And in the recent stories, the Traveler looks so much more main character-like, but even then, 𝗖cie stole the majority of the attention. And for a good reason. He looks very cute, but sharp when you need him to be. He doesn't just seem smart, he is smart, and that is sexy. I have seen a lot of people wanting to eat this guy. In what way, I am not sure, but basically the entire fandom loves 𝗖cie. Another thing that has gained a lot of noise is a reoccurring event. No, not the terrible dancing event. I am talking about the event of praising Genshin's character interactions. Known to be one of Genshin's best traits in its story, they bring characters old and new, using them for world building, mainly to make players emotionally invested, pushing them to spend money and pull them, of course. It is a gacha game after all, but to be fair, they are doing it quite well most of the time. A lot of the players praise Genshin especially for this, and that praise doesn't stop in Snezhnaya. In fact, it got even more praise. Why? Hard to explain in detail, but the examples I'm gonna give you are probably gonna help you understand. It is something like the developments of the relationship we have been introduced to since the start of the game, the Traveler and 𝗲𝗼𝗻. They have always been two peas in a pod, but in this story, they got separated, and 𝗲𝗼𝗻 got sick, and well, seems like the players have gotten a new sense of appreciation for 𝗲𝗼𝗻. Someone who is always there isn't there anymore. Maybe it feels empty for them. Unusual maybe. And so when the Traveler got back with the healthy 𝗲𝗼𝗻, the Traveler player told her how much they missed her, and tons of players actually felt quite sentimental, talking about how the Traveler and Paimon are so sweet. Piero, one of the more helpful characters in the situation, has gotten a lot more memes made for him. Uncle Piero is what they call him, and he is just taking care of Paimon in the best way he could. They are depicting him as a pretty wholesome guy for someone who looks so intimidating. Next is about Tartaglia. If you're a LARPer, you would probably not know that Child's home region is Snezhnaya. He talks a lot about his love for his family in his voice lines, or even in his story quest that, in my opinion, is one of the best in Genshin's early stages. Child has the funniest lines this patch, especially if you have him in your roster. There's this clip where it shows the player collecting an oculi with Child, and he says,
Could it be snowing in Snezhnaya too?
legendary clip, I tell you. Like, what the hell do you think, Child? We are here right now. I wonder if the devs will see this and give him an updated voice line or a new improved model.
No.
But hey, maybe I'm asking for too much. I will stop myself there. But anyways, here in Snezhnaya, we get to meet that family. There's a lot of talk about the interactions between him and his family, his sister, his little brother, and for a battle-hungry demon, this is the wholesome side that I love from him. This is gonna be the funniest clip that I'm gonna show you in this video, and it's a post saying, "We actually play with 𝗖cie if we have Child? Oh my god, I miss them." Sobbing emoji. Yes, you actually have exclusive dialogue with 𝗖cie if you have Tartaglia. What fun! And so I'm curious, right? I watched through it to see how they will play with each other. I was expecting something, and all I got was another Honkai Star Rail classic, the 𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗁 special, a black screen, white text storytelling. And don't get me wrong, it's still cute, but maybe we put a little bit more effort in it, I don't know. But that is not the best part, because this next one is my favorite. There is a secret cutscene that went absolutely viral about Odette and Vodyanista. And the word she says, verbatim, "Dear Odette, come and build a snowman with me." Clearly a Frozen reference to when Anna was singing to Elsa outside her room with a song titled, "Do You Wanna Build a Snowman?" You had probably heard about this before, and if you haven't, then I guess you have had a rough childhood. Besides the point, but I made a joke in the video talking about the 7.0 livestream. I called Snezhnaya looking like Disneyland, the way it is presented, and people got really mad at it. Meanwhile, Genshin over here just agreed with me. To be honest, I respect it. Hell yeah, all power to you. Snezhnaya might be very far from what I expected. I asked for a salty snack, and you gave me chocolate sprinkled desserts. Am I gonna complain? Sure, because that's not what I asked for. Am I still gonna eat it? Why not? No matter how full, there is always space for desserts. As long as it's 6 or 7, I'll eat it up.
If I speak, I am in big trouble.
But it's just so funny how people get so defensive, fighting a battle over a reputation that the developers themselves have already willingly accepted. Just stop. The thing is, if we talk about all of the character interactions that went viral, we would spend too long just talking about it, because there are just way too many. Isn't that crazy? It's been this far in the video, and we only talk about a speck of the things that happen in the story. Maybe that's why it's hours long, huh? But I'm not complaining. Genshin players are eating good, and that's it, I'm happy. But among the mountain of praise Genshin has gotten over the past week, there has also been a lot of criticism towards it. Things like the Prime Ice Construct system. For something that sounds good on paper, this was one of the most polarizing things I have seen in this update so far. Because the people who hate it really hate it, but the people who find it helpful like it a lot. So what is this gadget? It is the main way intended by the devs for you to explore the new region. You could make snowball cannons to launch yourself into the air, actually turning yourself into a snowball, hook and grappling device. The way it works reminds me of what Arknight's Enfield does, but without the very convoluted tutorials. Portable heat sources that you could deploy to prevent the cold mechanic from killing you. You could also leave behind messages for those who come after. Now, some of these constructs can sometimes appear in other players' world. Now think of the possibilities. It is like Death Stranding, but in Teyvat. Like I said, on paper, this sounds incredible. You could be out in the freezing cold area, needing a source of warmth. Conveniently, a heat source placed by a player that reached this place before you just spawns there right where you need it. You could be doing the world quest, and there's a sign that says, "Beware boss fights ahead." In a way, that could help out, right? Now you could prepare yourself before facing the boss. It turns an otherwise isolated solo journey into a shared, sometimes wholesome, survival experience. Now, why did I say sometimes? Because apparently, even when the addition of the tool was intended to be a good thing, not all people that are using it are good people. A lot of people are placing them near teleport waypoints and points of interest for misclicked likes. I don't know why these people are doing it. What is the point of Genshin likes? Does it give you extra primo gems or something? I've also seen people placing it deliberately for the purpose of ruining the immersion when you're playing the quest. Someone placed an ice construct in the place where Paimon is floating in the story, and it made her glitch and shake up and down like a broken ragdoll throughout the dialogue. These complaints are not nitpicks. They can actually ruin the gameplay experience for the people who encounter it. Hopefully you can see that, but this is not something you have to endure. You can always turn off this feature, which is also a funny thing to me because the tutorial for it got tons of views and shares. It really tells you something about the situation, right? The devs could also implement changes and fixes down the line. It's really not a hard fix, but who knows? There is another situation that is incredibly funny to me. Might be the funniest thing in this video. There is a tweet that says, every step in Snezhnaya is locked behind a quest with unskippable cutscenes. Sounds like an exaggeration, it definitely is, but it also definitely shows the frustration of a portion of the player base. One tweet that went viral, which might be a contender for the best clip of all time, is a clip showing how Genshin likes to do this thing where they would randomly put you in a really long world quest scene because you walked into it when you were trying to unlock a waypoint or just wandering around the world in general. And yes, 𝗖ście is right once again. The clip shows the player going towards an unlocked waypoint. The moment he was about to reach it, like legit just a foot away from unlocking it, a dialogue plays out. Unvoiced, by the way. The player was just mashing the buttons to skip the dialogue. 500 years later, the dialogue is finished. He took a few steps away and boom, a pop-up for a new gadget. That's funny, but that's not the end. It's whatever, right? Clicks away. And then he went back to that same waypoint to finally unlock it. Lo and behold, another goddamn dialogue twice in a row. That is a magnificent display of how much the devs love to troll you. Another unvoiced dialogue by two literal, no-name, unspecial-looking NPCs. And the player just mashes the button to skip the dialogue. 3,000 years later, he finally unlocks the waypoints. The cherry on top, he puts the caption as, "This has to be harassment, right?" And the reactions to this post have been spectacular, to say the least. What the hell are they thinking? Setting up two world quests right near the waypoints. Snezhnaya takes it to another level with the intent to take even more of your time. And the fact that they still haven't implemented conversation skip is a perfect example of that. The dialogue skip feature is half-assed, and it makes you mash the button so many times per progression. It annoys me too. I want to open up some teleports, but they are forcibly shoving me into a quest. You skip everything to get back to your own stuff faster, and then a week later, when you are actually in the mood for quest, you can't even remember what the whole deal was about. The funniest thing is, some guy saw this and decided that he would be very careful when going near the waypoint, deliberately going the long way around the area where the quest was triggered. He tapped the W key, slowly going towards the waypoints, and the dialogue scene still got triggered. It's probably the biggest laugh I have had in a while. It was fantastic. Either the devs didn't play their own game, or they deliberately do this to mess with the players. Either one is bad. This is one of the main reasons why I stopped properly exploring in Genshin, because me being in a mood for exploration doesn't mean I want to be shoved into a quest. And this one really puts into consideration how even when a lot of things in Genshin changes, the more the same things stay the same. It really is just how it is. What can you do about it? I'm not really sure, but at least I will be honest with my opinions and critiques about the game, even when a lot of people are trying their hardest to try and silence me and validate my opinions with the most unrelated things possible. But we are not here for that conversation. Maybe next video. At the end of the day, version 7.0 is quintessential Genshin Impact. 6 years of build-up mostly delivered where it mattered. Things like the massive overhaul to character models, genuine emotional payoff with Child and Senora, and an instant community favorites in 𝗖cie, and other newly introduced characters. Yet right alongside that absolute cinema, the same problems are still a problem. From lazily putting on the black screen white text to tell a story, to Waypoint world quest dialogue traps that just ruins your exploration. By no means is it a flawless update, but Snezhnaya proves that the game can still hit the narrative and visual highs when the stakes demand it. It gave us a dessert instead of a salty snack, but most of the players are still happily cleaning the plates. But how are you feeling about 7.0 so far? Are the ice constructs ruining your immersion, or are you too busy admiring 𝗖ecie to care? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for the story review coming next. This is 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!